started momentarily. I will turn it over to Board President Solis for us to begin the board meeting. Mrs. Solis, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Generone. Good evening, everyone. Adequate public notice of this meeting was provided by the Secretary of the Board on May 22nd, 2020, to the Home News Tribune and the Clerk of the City of New Brunswick. The time and location of this meeting and all meetings of this body are posted in City Hall, 78 Byard Street, New Brunswick. Roll call, Mr. General.
Mr. Ortiz.
Here.
Sadowski.
Here.
Mrs. Seawood.
Here.
Ms. Sevilla.
Here.
Mrs. Shikaitis.
Here.
Mr. Spencer.
Present.
Ms. Varela. Dr. Caldwell.
Here.
Mrs. Solis.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Generone. If we could all please recite the flag salute. 3, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of
of the United States of America,
for which it
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
liberty,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. This is a reminder that the next regular monthly Board of Education meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 19th, 2021, beginning at 7 p.m. via audio conference call. If I could please have a motion to accept the minutes of the November meeting, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Before I do that, I'd just like to, for the record, mention that Board Member Varela has now joined the call, so she is present.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now we had a motion by Mr. Ortiz to approve the minutes and a second by Mrs. Seawood. I'll take a roll call. Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Seawood.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Mrs. Shikaitis.
Yes. Here.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Varela.
You gotta mute yourself.
Yeah, there's a slight. I had
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Generone. Item number 4, the superintendent's report. Dr. Johnson.
Yes, good evening. Thank you. For the month of November, there were no cases of suspensions nor harassment, intimidation, and bullying reports. Our December student enrollment as of now is 9,832 students. Our student attendance was 89% for the month of November, and our certificated staff attendance was 98%. Just would like to just touch on a couple of things in the district. For virtual instruction continues to be delivered virtually. We had 2 classrooms at McKinley Kindergarten Center, which opened for in-person instruction for 2 weeks in November. But however, out of abundance of caution, and since our COVID-19 activity levels for our region moved from moderate to high, on about Monday, November 23rd, we postponed all in-person instruction in McKinley Kindergarten Center and any required testing of students at all school sites. We continue to get some rave reviews regarding what we're doing in the district for curriculum and instruction. Last month, I did speak about some of our teachers preparing a presentation for Ed Webb, where there was a lot of participants. And now the New Jersey Department of Office of K-3 Education got a little wind of it and actually decided and asked to partner with us to continue to do some more presentations related to our guided reading virtually for our primary grades. So as of right now, Ms. Danielle Mastrogiovanni, Ms. Michelle Hagery Solano, Ms. Stephanie Neal, Ms. Jessica DeLuca, who are teachers and a supervisor for our district, will lead a 1-hour presentation on conducting guiding reading in the virtual environment on December 16th in partnership with New Jersey Department of Education, which is some great news for us. In regard to community engagement, we have kicked off our Parent University, which offers training for our parents on different topics and resources. Our first session took place on November 30th, and the topic was on Google Gmail. This session provided our parents an overview of the Gmail platform and how to set up email accounts and how to create and email messages. We will have another Parent University session, which I believe is scheduled on December 17th. This session will focus on our on-course parent portal, where parents will actually learn how to access their child's schedule, attendance, and grades. And if parents need any additional information about our upcoming sessions, they can actually visit our district website. Also, we just released our mobile communication app. This integrates directly with our existing website and social media platforms and will be available to anyone who wishes to stay connected to New Brunswick Public Schools. The app is also a great way to receive daily messages and updates from the district and from individual schools. For more information, again, please visit our district website, and I do believe our schools are sharing information with our families. We continue to operate our device depot for students who have to repair their device. Our device depot is operating on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at New Brunswick Middle School, McKinley Community School, Redshaw School, and Woodrow Wilson School. And at those locations, it's from 8:30 to 11:30. However, parents can report to their home school for device repairs. Just reach out to the school administrators just to determine the appropriate time to come to the building. As regards to meal distribution, for all student meals, the district continues its current Grab and Go nutrition plan at 10 district locations on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, from 11 to 6 p.m. Curbside pickup continues to be available at the New Brunswick Middle School site from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., which will allow families to drive up and pick up their meals. We will also continue to provide meals via our contactless delivery service to over 1,600 families. Families who wish to sign up may do so by contacting our food service department at 732-745-5300, extension 3600. We do anticipate some heavy snow coming this Wednesday into Thursday morning, so on Thursday, December 17th, so we will not be distributing meals on Thursday. However, we will be distributing meals tomorrow, Wednesday, until 4:00 p.m. For the winter and holiday break, we will be providing families 14 days a meal beginning this Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and they will have food and meals, for the entire break. And lastly, this past Friday, I sent communication to all district staff regarding our planned dates for reentry in January. As you may recall, we did speak about reentering around the 30 period, which will be on about February 1st. As we move closer to welcoming hybrid students back for in-person instruction, we need to adjust and begin preparing for their arrival. Of course, those students who are not scheduled for in-person will remain remote. So as of right now, our plans are for our K-5 and K-8 staff are scheduled to return on January 19th, with students in the hybrid model returning between January 25th and January 27th. The return date for our middle school and high school staff is January 25th, with students in a hybrid model returning on February 1st. We will continue to follow the guidance from the Center for Disease Control to reduce the risk of the COVID spread. And again, we will continue to monitor the spread of the virus and make needed adjustments when necessary. We encourage our families and staff to be mindful of safety protocols during the winter break as family and friends gather. We realize that the last 9 months have been a challenge as we have adjusted to not seeing family and friends, but we need to think of everyone's well-being. We want to celebrate our holidays together. And let's be safe. Let's wear our masks. Let's honor social distancing. Wash our hands frequently. Keep gatherings small. And if possible, if you're okay with it, get the flu shot. Just want to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday. Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes my remarks.
Our report, Dr. Johnson. If I could please have a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
So moved. Second.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mr. Villa.
Yes.
Mr. Titus.
Yes.
Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Varela. Ms. Varela? Dr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 5, the student representative report, Ms. Kalani Nemhard.
Give me just a second to unmute Ms. Nemhard. Actually, Madam President, I don't think she's in attendance this evening.
Okay, very well. We'll move on to item number 6, the facility committee report, Mr. Spencer.
Yes. We are proceeding forward with the 50 Jersey Avenue School. We will apprise you of the project as we progress once information becomes available. That, Madam President, concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Item number 7, the athletic committee report, Mrs. Sadowski.
Thank you, Madam President. The athletic committee met yesterday afternoon. Some of our fall sports accolades are football, the John Denny Award to Quentin Tibbs. All division selections were Amir Alford, Quentin Tibbs, Brian Garcia, Kiefer Gomez, and Eli Rodriguez. And out of that, Quentin Tibbs is the only senior. So we have some pretty good players coming back for next year. One of the best things yesterday that we heard was, we put a lot of emphasis this year on the Play It Smart program and the mandatory study halls. Our athletic director has done a wonderful job, along with our coaches, who really went along with the Play It Smart, where if you didn't come to study hall, you didn't play. So we have had some dramatic improvements in our grade point averages, and I think our students should really be proud of themselves and realize that, hey, I can do it. When I need help, I should ask for help, or I should go get the help that's available, and that I'm capable of doing great work, because a lot of them, according to what we saw yesterday, have really, really improved. And all I say is keep going. Some of our boys soccer players, all GMC, Angel Cortez, who's a freshman, Jeffrey Rodriguez is a senior. All red division, Angel Cortez, Jeffrey Rodriguez, and Kevin Velasquez. Girls soccer, all white division, Salma Ibrahim, a junior goalie, and Nayeli Padilla, a junior forward. The NewJersey.com Comeback Player of the Year was Kalani Nemhard, our student board member. NewJersey.com All Division was Salma Ibrahim and Nayeli Padilla. Girls tennis, All GMC, first singles, Miss Ashley Caldwell. The GMC SAC Athlete of Fall Season Awards means the GMC, on behalf of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, has decided to award 4 athletes from each school as the Athlete of the Season award. Ashley Caldwell, tennis, Salma Ibrahim, girls soccer, Kevin Velasquez, boys soccer, and Jaden Gomez, football. Dates for winter sports are questionable right now. Basketball and bowling, as per the state, the practice would start June 11th and possibly competition would start the 26th. So that's for basketball and bowling. Right now, we have not made a decision. We are going to wait for guidance from the NJSIAA, and we will make our decision as to proceeding with the basketball and bowling winter sport on our next board meeting. That will also include our winter track, which their practice doesn't start till February 1st. Their competition would begin February 16th. That also, if we are going to proceed, we will decide at our next board meeting. Girls volleyball and wrestling, their practice would start March 1st, and then their games would start March 16th. That is about it for the athletic report, and just congratulations to all our students that received awards. And just so that they know, we let our athletic director know yesterday that we're most proud of our students that improved their grades. We know that they can do it, and they did it, and we just encourage them to keep going. And Madam President, that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sadowski. You did say we are very proud of our student athletes. Congratulations to them on doing the best. We'll move on to item number 8, the Curriculum and Policy Committee. Mrs.
I'm sorry, Madam President. Before we do that, I just want to do a check
Oh.
with Ms. Varela. Ms. Varela, is your unmuting working now? Okay, it's not, so we're going to continue to work on technical difficulties. And we do have a revised October and a November athletic report.
Yes, sorry, I forgot. So I need a motion to accept. Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Yes.
I'm sorry, is someone motion?
You need a second.
Second.
Okay, so, Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski,
Yes.
Ms. Seawood,
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla,
Yes.
Mrs. Shikaitis,
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
I'm going to skip Ms. Varela for a minute. She's calling back in. Dr. Caldwell,
Yes.
and Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Once we get Ms. Varela back in, we'll affirm her yes votes for the superintendent's report and the athletic report. Okay, thank you. So motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. General. We'll move on to item number 8, the Curriculum and Policy Committee report. Mrs. Seawood.
Madam President, the Curriculum Policy Committee met last week, and we had 2 presentations. Before I begin, as usual, Dr. Johnson has covered part of what we covered during our meeting, as he usually does, but it's all good. The first presentation we had was by Dr. Fontanez, who gave us information on how New Brunswick is beginning to use option 2 for graduation requirements for placement for English language learners. Option 2 has not been used that often in the district, but the curriculum and instruction team, Dr. Fontanez, saw it as an opportunity for English language learners to use for equity, providing equal opportunities towards graduation. And this is a program that the state has had for quite a while in terms of how students can satisfy graduation requirements. So we commend them for using this option, and it surely will improve our graduation rates. The second presentation was by Supervisor of Humanities, Danielle Mastrogiovanni, who, as Dr. Johnson indicated, presented nationally, and I think it's scheduled tomorrow to present at the state level, along with others from the district. And this is on how to provide students access to high-quality guided reading instruction, along with protocols and resources that best support guided reading in a virtual learning environment. And we commend that team, as we did last month when Dr. Smalls did his presentation also, because, as we all know, in March we were kind of thrown into the virtual learning environment, and I can say the curriculum and instruction department has been quite busy since March and has been working to build adequate supports and really support our staff in terms of using and maximizing the virtual learning environment, and they are to be commended. As he said, the parent university has started, and we hope they're able to keep the second session, which is scheduled for December 17th. Just a reminder, the technology department sends out newsletters, and for October and November they sent newsletters. And also we had a chance to look at the updates for Google, which we don't, as board members, we don't always get an opportunity to use Google in this way. And so that was interesting. Some of the features we covered: how to use host settings to control virtual meetings, raise your hand, closed caption, additional languages, track attendance with a participant record, background changes, noise filtering, question and answer periods that's less obtrusive to class flow, and a polling tool to let students share their voices. These are techniques that have been introduced, reinforced, and practiced with the teachers as they continue in this virtual teaching and learning environment. Dr. Johnson covered the reentry plan, and as appropriate, if any adjustments need to be made, we trust that they will be made, because this has really been a challenging time the last few months, and we've had to make many adjustments. The resolutions that we reviewed are included in the consent agenda, policies, 3 policies that have been revised. They are included in the consent agenda. We recommend adoption on the first reading. There's also a new policy that covers board meetings during a declared emergency, and we recommend that be adopted on first reading. Other than that, we commend the Curriculum and Instruction Department for their hard work, and we look forward to continued success. Many people in the state and actually nationally are aware of their work, and kudos to them for stepping up and accepting the challenges in using virtual tools for education. I believe that's everything we covered. And that's the end of my report, unless one of the committee members can think of something in addition to that.
I think you were very thorough. Thank you so much, Mrs. Seawood.
Okay.
We will move on to item number 9, the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey. Dr. Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be brief. The good news is that most of our programs are near capacity in spite of the pandemic. The bad news is because of the rise in cases, we've gone remote for many of our programs. But the one thing I did want to say is that we have our Zoom board meetings. We have one coming up on Friday, and at every meeting we have a presentation. Our last presentation was it's called Access for All Through Assistive Technology. And it's amazing the technology is reaching a level that many of our students who have special needs on the autism spectrum with emotional challenges are really making progress. So it's just exciting to see that folks are getting more access to normal things because of the technology. So that's my report. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Caldwell. Moving on to my report. Everyone is so thorough this evening. I would just like to wish everyone a very happy holiday season, and everyone is safe. The impending snowstorm that's been forecast, and I am so thankful that Mr. Johnson did decide to call a half day for the district. I hope that everyone does remain safe during these times. We'll move on to item number 11. Public comments. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mrs. Solis. We have 5 members of the public that have registered their intent to speak. I will identify the first member of the public. Okay, I'm going to call on Mr. Jerry Mercado. Mr. Mercado.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mercado, you have 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President, board members, administrators, fellow parents. I wanted to bring to your attention 3 concerns, and hoping to get some resolution. Hopefully, one might be a board policy. I did bring my concerns up to Mr. Steed, Mr. Redler, and also Dr. Johnson. And I'm hoping that I get some resolution from you guys, because I didn't get satisfactory resolution. So my first concern, I said I have 3 concerns. My first concern is that players should not be allowed to be picked up. I'm talking about student athletes should not be allowed to be picked up near their home on game day. It's not only not fair to the players that get there on time, some of which they have to kind of pay a taxi to get there, which is, with the families that we have, is very difficult. But also for parents who get up early in the morning to drive their kids. In this particular case, there was a soccer game on a Saturday, and a player was picked up near their home because they woke up late, and that shouldn't be the case. When I questioned Mr. Steed, he said, "Oh, this is a common practice." And I've had 3 kids play sports, and I've never heard of that. So I'm not sure where he's coming from, but I'm suggesting to the board, if this is a practice that is allowed, that a board policy be implemented, that players who do not make the game, if they don't get to the bus on time, they should not be allowed to play in the game, unless their parents take them or whatever the case may be. But the bus shouldn't deviate. And the reason I'm concerned about that is, like I said, it's not fair to the players to get there on time, or the parents that have to get up to get there as well. But also it can be a concern of safety if the bus deviates and they get into an accident because of this additional player being picked up. Then that's a different conversation altogether, and that's a liability for the district. So I'm looking for a board policy that if this is a policy that is a practice, like Mr. Steve said, that it should not be allowed. My second concern is senior night has always been about giving the opportunities to seniors to play. Most of the time, there's some seniors that are on JV, some of them that sit on the bench, but usually senior night is to celebrate seniors and give them the opportunity to shine. This past senior night for the ladies soccer, there was a change in philosophy with a new coach. Her coach, Coach Ali, philosophy was only the best players get on the field, even on senior night, which is not something that traditionally we have done in the past. And so I had mentioned to Mrs. Steed, and Mr. Steed did mention that he didn't condone that, but he understood what the coach did, but I disagree with that. I think seniors should be given the opportunity to play. It's been a tradition for years. It's what the seniors look forward to, and unfortunately, my daughter, who's a senior, got cheated from that. She only got allowed to play a few minutes out of the 90-minute soccer game. And my last concern is that my daughter suffered an injury during the soccer game, and I thought it was very mishandled by the coach. Not only did she suffer an injury to her mastoid area of her ear, and my daughter is hearing impaired as well, but there was no first aid given. There was no protocols followed for concussion, and the accident report was given to me very late, and it was also incorrect in the information that was provided. The only first aid my daughter received was a Band-Aid from one of her players that she got from the emergency kit. No one checked for her concussion, if she had one or not. And when I took her to the doctor, she did suffer a concussion, and she was out of play for a long time. But had this been a more serious injury, they need to have some accountability for coaches better trained for, especially for concussion protocols. And then in addition to that, and this is something not new, the officiating for the ladies, for girls soccer, is really poor, and was probably one of the causes why she got injured. There's usually not a lot of red cards given, not a lot of warnings. I even had an experience with my daughter, who graduated in 2015. She broke her leg during a scrimmage, and it was probably due to poor officiating. So my recommendation is, Mr. Spencer is part of the superintendent of recreation. They do have referees there. We should try to get our own referees to officiate, or people that are better qualified than the people that are there now, so we don't have more serious injuries than a laceration of the mastoid or a broken leg. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Mercado. And for the record, we can't comment on individual student situations during the public meeting.
And that's fine, I understand. But if someone else can get back to me, I would really appreciate that.
We'll look into the matter.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mercado. Madam President, I've been communicating with the student board member. She's having difficulty, but I do have the report. So after the public comments, I'd like to just read the report if you don't mind.
I don't mind one bit, Mr. General, and that would be fine.
Thank you. In the meantime, I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Jenkins, who wishes to address the board.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Mr.
we can hear you.
Oh, yes, hi. Thank you, Board, for letting me have this opportunity to talk. I'd like to just share some thoughts regarding the school session after the holidays. First of all, I've lived in New Brunswick for nearly 33 years and raised a family here. My daughter is currently a sophomore in college, and my son is a senior at the New Brunswick Health Science Technology High School. Like you, my children, wife, and I have never experienced a worldwide pandemic and resulting effects on our society. We've all suffered in different ways. Hardest hit health-wise have been our elderly. Unemployment and business closures have been devastating for many. And finally, our children, being at home for so long, have suffered in their learning and other unseen ways. I'm hoping that going into the spring term that we can get our kids back out with the necessary measures in place to ensure the virus is contained. There are private elementary schools that I know of that are currently operating 5 days a week. Generally, children are required to wear masks, and strict rules regarding timed entry and hallway directions are also in effect. Vaccines being made available this month should also serve to ensure containment. I'm concerned that isolation has been doing more harm than good. Specifically, the lack of physical presence of certified teachers and the lack of social interaction and physical activity has caused many students to lose discipline in their studies and fitness. This obviously comes about due to lack of accountability for the students and competitive peer pressure that comes from being in the classroom. Of course, there is a risk in coming back together, but at least now we have had enough time to get to know this enemy, and if we adhere to the proper measures and hygiene, we can succeed in containing the spread, I believe. We'll be fighting this virus on our own turf, our schools, a controlled environment where our children can have the option of receiving in-class instruction and social interaction with proper distancing. We haven't, as a society, been able to totally eradicate this pathogen. Apparently, using shutdowns as a way to fight it has not been totally effective. And unfortunately, with shutdowns, there have been consequences economically and educationally, also with mental health and substance abuse. Now with new vaccines coming out shortly and existing drugs repurposed for COVID treatment, I think that doing the hybrid instruction this spring will, while keeping our guard up, will be a good first step in getting our kids back to the classroom. It may not be the perfect answer, but neither are the shutdowns. Thank you, board members, for all the hard work and time you invest in our community. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. I will now call on the next member of the public to speak. Mr. Cradable. Mr. Cradable?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. The floor
Okay,
is yours.
thanks. Thanks. I noticed on the agenda today you're changing the rules here about signing up to speak at the meetings. You want us to have to tell you now in advance of the meeting, 5:30 p.m., the day of the board meeting. Why is that? What's the need for that? And you're also requiring us to tell you our topic that we want to discuss. Is there any purpose to this, or are you just trying to make it harder for people to speak?
Mr. Cradaville, we have asked that people sign up with the board secretary before the board meeting for many months now.
And Resolution P changes that and says that now you have to sign up 90 minutes before 7 p.m. board meetings, right? You're making it harder. You're making the requirement more onerous. You're making it so people have to tell you more advance notice. It was already not the practice just a year ago. Why are you changing it at this time?
Madam President, if Mr.
Yes.
Credible is asking a question about Resolution P, I would feel free to answer if you wish.
Go ahead, Mr. General.
So, Mr. Credible, the state of New Jersey and the governing body that regulates board meetings came out with new laws regarding public comment and procedures during remote board meetings during a declared emergency. Not only do we have Resolution P on the agenda, we also have a policy as part of Resolution G. And as part of that new law that the state of New Jersey passed, requires us to set a reasonable amount of time before the board meeting that a public can submit for public comments. And we feel a reasonable amount of time is an hour and a half before the board meeting, so that gives us time to administratively take care of everything they need to do in order to get the board meeting and not have to look for members of the public who may want to sign up minutes before and try to monitor all those things. So that is why we have set, based on the law, the very reasonable time of 5:30 for someone to submit that they wish to make public comments.
Okay, and can you cite the law that requires you to set an advance time frame like that?
I don't know the number of the law now, but we get local finance notices from the state of New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to reclaim my time since you don't know what the law is. It's NJAC 5:39-1, and there's nothing in that requires the board to do what you're doing tonight. This is just another chipping away at the public comment process. And, quite frankly, I'll wait to hear if you know a citation. Tell me what law actually requires you to do this.
Mr. Credible, I'm not going to debate the laws with you, since you obviously know more about school law than I do in my 22 years of experience. So move on to any other.
It's not school law. It's, again, part of the administrative code of the state of New Jersey. It was adopted by the Division of Local Government Services. It's titled Emergency Remote Meeting Protocol for Local Public Bodies. And most other bodies have already adopted rules to comply with that. And most of them just do like every other board, where they say, whoever wants to speak, raise your hand, or whoever wants to speak, speak now. And they don't have an advance time requirement. You're out of your element here. You're really, just being disgraceful in terms of the way you treat the public. The 50 Jersey Avenue School, I want to clarify, I did get a response today with a report from Langen Engineering that makes it clear that there's groundwater contamination. 6 of the areas of concern are suspected of having soil and/or groundwater contamination, warranting further investigation. And thankfully, I don't have to just rely on DevCo's client there, Langen, to get this information, because I actually got from the DEP the documents that show the contaminants, the lead, the mercury, the TCE, the PAHs. So Mr. Spencer's brief report today saying that the school's moving forward. Can he tell us anything about what contaminants are still there and how long it's going to take to clean up the site before we can actually start the school?
This is the board president, George Hendricks. We can't answer that now, but we do remediate. We did remediate the high school. I've seen many environmental reports. That one is bland, to say the least. I didn't see the water contamination you're talking about. I saw some soil removal requirements, so we're hoping it won't delay the project.
I'll point it out to you when I respond to your email. Did you just say you're the board president, sir?
Oh, I said board attorney. If I said that, I misspoke.
Okay, just checking. I know you used to be an elected official.
Dolly. You're being a wise guy tonight with your comments. You know statutes, you read the state, and you try and sandbag the board. It's typical Charles Radival, first class jerk.
Thank you for that. I always get a kick out of it when the board and your alleged professionals lose your cool and act like children. You're supposed to be setting an example for the
child.
children of New Brunswick.
Incredible, and that the consensus of the board is that you're the child.
Well, I would submit that you guys are wrong about that. I haven't called you a name. You called me a jerk. You called yourself the board president. So I'm
Well,
concerned that.
Misspeak. You know that. I'm not the board president. Come on.
Okay, well then you shouldn't say you are. And quite frankly, you should be a better representative of the board. You're not helping your image when you.
Thank you, Mr. Cradable.
Thank you. 5 minutes, sir?
Time, the 5 minutes has concluded.
Sorry, Madam President, I lost my cool, but that young man bothered.
I totally understand, Mr. If we could just move on with public comments, please.
Okay, the next member of the public we'll call is Miss Linda Stork.
Yeah.
Ms. Stork?
Hi, yes. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I really don't care for the name calling. I find that disturbing. We've just seen so much of that, on the broader political scene this last time. I was hoping that was behind us. My question is about, well, actually, Charlie kind of touched on it. I'm trying to see like a timeline for, does Mr. Spencer have any idea? Have they said if it's, if they're still on the original timeline, or if it would be a more delayed timeline for construction?
I'd made a public statement, George Hendricks, the board attorney, the projected opening date of the new school is September 2023. There's been no alteration of that. We've had that environmental report for quite some time now, and we intend to remediate and start the construction ASAP, but timelines were not there yet.
Still looking at fall 2023. And what is the size of this new school exactly? I heard a couple figures that kept getting bigger. Is it how many students? Is
So
it being
if you
built
would
for?
please proceed with public comments.
See, this is the thing. Okay, and about the changing of the procedures for the public comments. So it's going to be difficult because often, for years, I think I'm to the Board of Education meetings for 40 years, and you don't always know what you're going to comment on. You have to see what is on the resolutions and what you have questions about. And then I would get up and sign my name while I was at the podium and ask the questions, and you guys would answer the questions about the resolutions, but that doesn't seem to, so would we be required if we say, well, I'm going to speak about X, Y, Z, but then something comes up in the meeting, can you speak about ABC then? If you signed up to speak about X, Y, Z? I would like to understand what are the changes here. I see the change in the time that we have to let the board secretary know earlier. But what about the topic provision?
Yes, Ms. Stork, you could deviate from the topic that you've already mentioned.
So you just.
And to be clear with the new policy, Ms. Stork, it doesn't change anything we've done in the past. If you have questions on the resolutions, the agenda is on the website the Monday morning before the board meeting. If you have questions on resolutions, we'll certainly ask those questions, answer those questions. Any other comments you're free to make.
Okay, well, I did, so I had a question about the resolution, I believe it's N, the $1 million payment on the 18, and I looked up in the resolution, what exactly, so so it had to be financed, but what is being financed exactly? What is the equipment that's being financed? Because it's like $17 million or something.
Resolution N as in Nancy, Ms. Dork?
Yes.
Okay, so Resolution N is the ESIP project. So several years ago, it stands for Energy Savings Improvement Program. And through those projects, we worked with the BPU in the state of New Jersey. We went out to bid, and we performed over $20 million worth of energy savings improvement projects in the school district. That includes solar panels, that included cogeneration plants, that included new lighting, heating, air conditioning throughout the entire district. The project pays through itself from the savings that we achieve, and now we'll continue to pay the lease payments over the next 20 years to pay for those lease projects.
Okay.
So we got
what
$2 million worth of projects for no increase and no funding to the taxpayers.
Okay, when you say air conditioning throughout the district, do all the schools have air conditioning now? On all the
No,
floors?
not all have air conditioning.
So why, while we were at it, we didn't include all the schools and all the floors to get the air conditioning? And why did we put solar panels on a building that they then had to be taken off of?
So the solar panels are repurposed to Roosevelt School at no cost to the school district. So we achieve savings while they're on the Lincoln Annex School building, and we'll continue to achieve savings while they're on the Roosevelt School building. The energy saving improvement projects did not include air conditioning for the schools. These are projects that, once you put into the school, save the district money through using less energy, not increasing the energy. And you have about...
Okay, you said air conditioning.
Yes, I misspoke. Thank you. You have about 30 seconds left, Ms. Dork.
Okay. I'm confused. So air conditioning was not included. But clearly there's creative ways to work on that energy, these energy situations, and it seems like we should be able to get air conditioning in all the schools, on all the floors, especially now with COVID. It's going to be very important to have good circulation of the air. More than ever. Does the school district still own the old Lincoln Annex School, or the old St. Peter School, or do we still own that, or is
From the
that
board
already been-
attorney, the deed is not yet transferred, but it's eminent.
Is there anything preventing it from being transferred?
No, just dotting all the i's and crossing all the t's on the escrow agreement for the new school. That's it.
All right, thank you. We were, for the record, we were up to 6 minutes and 30 seconds for Ms. Dork, and I did stop the clock while I was speaking. So I did need to end that to stay within the board policy. Okay, so that concludes the public comment portion of the board meeting. And before we move to the next report, Madam President, may I read the student representative report?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The New Brunswick High School administered driver's education permit testing in the building on November 18, 2020. The high school team invited students from the Health Science Tech, P-Tech, and the Adult Learning Center to test with the New Brunswick High School students. COVID protocol was adhered to at the highest level. Sanitizing stations were in place, social distancing was adhered to by all students and staff, and face masks were worn by all occupants. Students received immediate feedback as assigned proctors used scanning devices to grade the assessment. The high school held its senior convocation ceremony for the senior class of 2021 in a not-so-traditional format. A YouTube presentation was aired online at 6:30 December 19th, 6:30 p.m. December 19th. Inspiring and relevant speeches were given by Superintendent Johnson, Principal Redler, Shalisa Vasquez, Class of 2021 President, and Tiana Riles, the Vice President of the Class of 2021. Sherelle Needham, MBHS, graduated the Class of 2014, and First Lieutenant Diana Garcia Pelez graduated the Class of 2013. The senior convocation YouTube ceremony is still available to view in the New Brunswick High School website. On December 3rd, New Brunswick High School students were provided a FAFSA presentation by Berkeley College in English from 6 to 7 p.m. An additional FAFSA presentation was presented in Spanish the evening of Tuesday, December 8th. Both presentations were extremely informative and well attended by New Brunswick High School students. Parent-teacher conferences took place in a Google Meet format. The event was planned very well. It was not difficult for parents to navigate from class to class in pre-scheduled Google Meet sessions. A help desk using the main Google Meet session was staffed by administrators and school counselors to answer questions and guide parents that needed help for their next meetings. The SAT was administered in New Brunswick High School on Saturday, December 5th, providing New Brunswick students, along with students from surrounding communities, the opportunity to test and prep for college. As mentioned before, all COVID protocols were followed. I, Kalani, with the New Brunswick High School administration, staff, and parents, participated in the high school reentry planning meeting. It was interesting to learn about the plans that are being formulated and appreciated that I was asked to be part of the high school reentry planning team. I was asked to offer suggestions and make comments throughout the meeting by Mr. Redler, and I know that my ideas were heard. The NOCTI testing took place during December in an online proctored structure. The NOCTI is the National Occupational Competency Testing Institute and is an American certifying organization that tests students on their abilities to perform the skills needed in that career. The second marking period is going by quickly. Virtual learning has its challenges. However, we are learning to work past these struggles and feel stronger. We learn to manage our time, solve problems independently, and know how to ask direct questions when support is needed. To conclude, as 2020 comes to a slow end, we hope that 2021 is filled with new beginnings for our school district. Thank you, and happy holidays. And I would just like to thank her for her report. It's a very well-written, thorough report.
Thank you for reading it, Mr. Janarone.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll move on to the Finance Committee report. Dr. Caldwell?
We have to do the consent agenda, I think, that we...
Oh, I'm sorry. That's correct. If I could have a motion. So moved. Item.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Mrs. Shikaitis.
Yes, I abstain on item R.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 13, the Finance Committee report. Dr. Caldwell?
Yes. I wanted, everyone should have the finance report, and just need a motion to accept the finance report as presented.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla.
Yes, abstain on page 21.
So noted. Mrs. Shakaitis.
Yes, I abstain on page 14.
So noted. Mr. Spencer.
Yes, I abstain on page 4 and 12.
So noted. Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Generone. Item number 14, the Personnel Committee report. Mr. Ortiz.
Yes, Madam President. The Personnel Committee met last Thursday. Everyone should have gotten a copy of the report. I need a motion to accept the report as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'll take a roll call. Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla. Ms. Sevilla?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Mrs. Shakaitis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Caldwell, were you gonna?
I said yes. Did you hear me?
Yes, okay. I thought I cut you off. You were gonna say something else.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I have a yes from Mrs. Solis. Motion approved.
Thank you. If I could now have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So move.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Seawood.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Titus.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
Resign.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening.
Everybody have a nice holiday.
Thank
Merry
you.
holidays. All I want for Christmas is for you to resign.
Goodbye.